the pitter patter of feet is going to turn back from the door, kind of look towards Jinx and Gale, and we've got company. And he's going to start moving back out into the hallway.
All right, so you remember that whole hallway was essentially trapped as you guys were moving through it.
Yes. I don't remember if the spot right on the other side of here. So maybe he'll just hmm, yeah, maybe he'll hold on this side of the door. Yeah, he doesn't want to. Yeah.
And how is Gale preparing? What is Jinx preparing?
Hey Gail, tell me really quick, how many of each like spell slot do you have like on your guy? Not like used up or whatever, just like how many would you have total normally? Like is it two fourth levels, three third levels?
Yeah, basically, right now at least.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think both of you have gone pure into your classes, so you would have the same amount. You're both full casters.
Yeah, I went through and started looking at the level 9 stuff when you said prepare for next level and didn't realize that it like shows up now and I don't want to mess with anything because it'll mess with like what I've used up already. Does that make sense?
Vaguely. I think if you went back, you could lower your level back to 8, but in the long run, like, it's fine, whatever.
Well, but that won't like mess with like what I've already used up or anything like that.
I don't believe so, but even if you tried to reset it back to what it is, like, as far as things go, as long as you guys aren't cheating on purpose, you can't, like, you can only cheat yourselves as far as I'm concerned by fudging stuff, so
I got you.
I
Well,
don't
I
really care to
used up.
micromanage people ever again.
Okay, I got you. Well, just for a note, I used up 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s, and 3 bardic inspirations. I'm gonna go reset it really quick.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, sorry, shouldn't really change anything like from the level because it only resets on like if you're doing it on D&D Beyond, it's really only on long rest and short rest that it reset things. On levels, it just keeps everything, just adds more hit points. That's the only thing you have to keep track of.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it did. All right, thanks, buddy.
So do you two have thoughts how you prepare once you hear these footsteps?
Yeah, Gale is gonna back up a little bit, like there, and yeah, I'm basically gonna hold a fire bolt, just a small one, to, like, because I'm guessing nothing friendly is down here with us, so he's gonna like attack the first thing that shows up.
Gotcha.
And
I
I
should
guess
add, technically, you guys have access to this room right now.
yeah. I guess if these doors were, if we hadn't closed them when we came in, Davros will try to close them from this side.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't see any reason why you couldn't close those doors.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna get a. I guess I'll just get like ready with my gun or to cast a spell or something, like just depending on what goes down. But I'm not gonna like hold an action necessarily or anything.
Gotcha. I mean, if you're gonna use like the gun to hold an action, that doesn't cost you anything. Holding an action with a spell expends the spell, so but you're welcome to do that and just kind of like be ready.
Yeah, I think I would more just like kind of just be ready, just because I don't know exactly what's gonna go down. And if I'm like all ready to like shoot the gun and then I decide to cast a spell, I feel like that see my eyes go like super wide as I realize it's like right outside the door, and then I'll just put my finger up to my lips, like one vertical finger, and then I'll just point right at the door.
So as he points to the door, what are you guys thinking? What do you want to do?
So I think Davros is going to. He'll just like kind of nod, and then maybe actually go to. I don't know if it would make sense, but like I think he'll kind of ready his blade, maybe take like a step back, trying to be kind of, I guess, quiet, but um, and he'll kind of like nod back, or kind of gesture back towards the other door that we just kind of broke through.
Is your cantrip have like verbal component scale, or is yours like just like thematic?
Oh, actually, it does have verbal.
I see no reason why you couldn't be whispering to keep it going, but you're welcome if you want to switch to something nonverbal if you wanted to here. I think the big thing about a verbal component is more, does somebody silence you more than like, can you whisper it to still effectively cause the spell to happen?
And so far, it doesn't sound like the thing's trying to actually get in. Just that it was like close to the door.
Yeah, effectively at this point, you guys kind of have a sensation that there's something sniffing at the opposite side of this door. And I think you guys are well enough aware that the House Vlaadam uses werewolves to pretty well assume that there's probably a werewolf inside of the store.
And when Davros closed the door, how much effort did it seem like he had to expend to like close it? Was it the type of thing where he could like do it pretty quickly, or is it like a bunch of effort and like like a whole like big thing?
They're pretty heavy doors, but he's also a pretty fucking strong guy, right? What's your strength at on Davros?
Yeah, I believe 18. Yep,
Yeah,
18 strength.
like you imagine it would take some effort for most people, but for him, it's relatively like shutting a big like wooden door, but these are massive like steel doors.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I think Jinx is gonna like mime, like a quick like opening of the door, and then uh slashing of like a sword, basically. Like, as in, do we want to like try to surprise this thing and like jump it or what?
Gale will like give a nod to the miming and like, keep continuing whispering his firebolt.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I'll look to Davros and like shake my head like up and down, and then I'll hold up like three fingers.
Davros will nod. He will move back to the door, and then kind of like he'll look back towards Jinx. He'll nod, and then he is going to basically wait. Count silently 3 seconds in his head, and then yeah, go to open the door.
So at this point, if I could hold a bane for like around the time that the door would open, I would like be ready to cast it. Potentially like go through the door if I have to first.
I gotcha. Roll an insight here. Really, just don't roll a 1. I
5.
gotcha. So yeah, you're like starting to really question if Davros is going to open in time. So I'd say let me have you push forward towards the door because you said potentially going through the door first. So let me just have you right next to the door. Yeah. And then we'll let you guys open. As Davros pushes into the door, Davros, can I get a strength check from you?
Yes.
I think it's gonna be
That's gonna be a 10.
Gotcha. So as you go to like push open the door, like there is resistance on the door, as you very quickly recognize that there is another body on the other side of the door, and it's a big old wolf. But as you push it open, the wolf is going to get thrown back 5 feet, and you guys are going to see on the opposite side of this door, and the two spellcasters can proc their attacks.
And bane would be a charisma 16.
Let's see, and Gale did a firebolt for 24 to hit for 12 fire damage.
Alrighty. So what did you say your to hit was there, Gail? My bad.
Oh, 24 to hit.
Gotcha, excellent. Yeah, so it gets blasted by a fireball as it's kind of thrown back those few feet. You do sink the bane into it as Jinx kind of releases this spell, seeing that there's nothing else but like this singular wolf right on the opposite side of the door. Let me get everybody to roll initiative here.
8 for Davros.
12 for Gale.
And 22 for Jinx.
Davros lost a step because he didn't realize there's gonna be so much resistance on that door. It threw him off balance for a second.
All right, so Jinx, you said 24. What was the next highest?
22.
Gotcha, 22.
And then Gale for 12.
And Davros, where were you at?
Davros was an 8.
Alrighty, Jinx, what would you like to do as you sink in this bane on the creature before you?
So now that I've cast my spell, I will level the Volt Ray emitter, and I'm gonna aim for like main body mass and fire off a shot. It's so bad.
Yeah, so like just switching between like your spellcasting components and grabbing the gun, you're kind of moving just a little bit too quick as you see this creature before you. As it starts to kind of like leap forward, it is going to. You can of course do anything else.
Maybe like as I like misfire this thing, I'm like expecting to just like level this and just like scorch this thing. I'll take like a couple steps backwards, like, oh shit.
As it leaps forward, Davros would like to take a swing out at it with his brace ability.
Gotcha. Go for that attack.
All right. Be a 24 to hit.
24 will hit.
And that should be for 14. No, sorry, 15 damage total. The D8 is the superiority die. And that
Gotcha.
is his that uses his reaction as well. So
Yeah, and that's Sulamar as well. That's a magical weapon, so that'll cut through its resistances. As it's like leaping into, you can see like its flesh kind of like flayed away from its body. As it leaps towards you, it is going to try to slash at you and then to bite into you, Davros. Its first attack is going to be the bite, and that is a 16 to hit.
just misses.
And then the second one should hit with a 20 as it claws into you. And it's going to do.
Did you do Bane? Are you doing it? I don't need to mess with it.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. The 22. Roll a d4 for me.
I think if it's 22 to hit, even with a 4, it's going to hit Davros.
Gotcha. Because 18 is the lowest. I
Yeah.
got you. Because what is it? 17's your AC? Is that why the 16 missed?
Yeah, 17.
It's going to do 6 slashing damage as it claws into you.
Got it.
And then as it claws into you, you're going to hear as it starts to howl, but it's like wolfy howl is actually going to kind of like continue into like where it's like, and you start to hear it's like howl like mold into where it's calling out the vaults. I can't really make like a howling of vaults, but I like to imagine that we could pretend that I know how to make that sound. But it kind of yells out to somewhere else there are more, and they now know to come to the vaults. Yeah, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
My apologies. This is also bloodied at this point.
Yeah, then I think I'm just gonna. I'm gonna firebolt it actually. Just go with what works. That would be a 14 to hit
14 is going to hit.
for 17 damage.
Excellent. And then that'll go up to you, Davros. What would you like to do?
All right. So hearing this howl, Davros is going to just like not taking his eyes off the creature as it's kind of slashing out at him, but he's going to get to the vault, find what we need, and then we'll take 2 swings at this wolf.
Pretty sure if you hit with both, you've got a solid kill.
All right. Yep, they should both hit.
Yeah. So, you can describe how you cut down this werewolf.
All right. So he's like, yeah, like telling you, it's like, get to the vault, find what we need, and then I feel like as it's like kind of like it's finished, like just clawing across his chest, he kind of his first swing almost just like lops off the claw at or like one of its claws as it's kind of like coming off the backswing, and then second one just like shoulder on like kind of like downward diagonal, just like cutting like real deep into the creature. And I think as he kills it, he is going to.
Shit, I forgot about something. Let me have you guys roll a perception check for me again.
5 that time for Deborah.
11.
And a dirty 20 for Gale this time.
Gotcha. Gail, as Davros pushed open the door, the wolf was thrown back, but you definitely recognize that as the wolf's foot pressed down into the stonework, a dart shot out of the wall and hit the wolf.
All right, so the traps are still on.
After Davros, Jinx, you can still hear there is movement out in the hallway. What would you like to do?
Okay, so that initial wolf is dead, and there's movement out in the hallway.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it forward. I'm not gonna kill a werewolf immediately where it is automatically dead. So you can contemplate whether you would like to finish off that werewolf, and make sure that there's no chance that it can come back and like stand back up with like a D20, or you can actually like rush out into the hall and try to fight whatever else is coming at you. I'm gonna say effectively, you can see that that werewolf is like unconscious, but on the ground still breathing.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, so I think having Davros yelled like get to the vault and get what we need. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my movement to get into the vault as much as I can, but I'm gonna keep the Volt Ray emitter readied and just like aim it straight down the hallway in case something pops into my view.
Gotcha. Let me just have you roll a perception as you're running into the vault then.
A dirty 20.
Gotcha. So as you move into there, there's like an actual like chest, say like 3 by 3 by 4 feet wide, like on the southern corner. like classic like treasure chest kind of thing. There is a small bronze case on the ground, kind of directly in front of you, like a little bit to the south of you. And then there's a bunch of different like pieces of like canvas artwork, kind of like stacked up against the wall, one beside the other. They're all framed and they've got nice like gold uh leaf like frames. You can see like the beauty of them. But that's kind of what you can kind of make out of like what sits in this vault right now. Sounds good then. If we go to the wolf, I'm gonna see if it stands. Ooh, so close, so close. Hey, roll the one. I'm gonna give it advantage there. That's and then Davros, you're going to see as there's another wolf outside in these halls, and you basically see as it like leaps off of the wall, and its claws like sink into the stonework of the wall, and then it's going to leap across this room, and it is going to tackle into you. Can I have a um, grapple, please?
Is that just a strength check, right?
Strength athletics, yeah.
Oh, okay, so
Oh
athletic.
my gosh.
It's a 13 for me.
Yeah, so it's just gonna like leap over you and you're able to just like hold your ground as it like slides into the room. Um is your reaction to make an attack, is that like always just at the option of using a die?
Superiority die, yeah, and as long as I have my reaction to use, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you want to use it here or are you good right now?
Uh, yeah, I feel like I would use it. Maybe almost as it's like kind of like as I avoid being tackled, then just turn and yeah, take a swing at it with my reaction.
Gotcha. Part of the important thing to recognize there is that this wolf was not running on the ground of that hall.
Yeah, so no, probably it knows the traps, yeah. And just to I guess clarify, so are these like do they look like are they in wolf form or some sort of like hybrid form, humanoid form?
I mean, as far as things go, I would say these are more like hybrid form. I think that's like typical werewolf is they're humanoid, but they're not in wolf form.
Gotcha. Okay, just curious. Uh, I think that's gonna miss. That's a 13.
13 does actually still hit.
Oh, okay. So that would be for 18 damage total. Good normal damage. Crap on the superiority die, but I'll take it.
You said 18 damage total.
Yes.
And then it is going to try to bite you.
Well, before it bites him, I know Davros had expressed that he doesn't want to be shot by the Volt Ray emitter. Uh, can I get a clear shot on it to use my reaction?
Oh yeah, you can react as well.
Okay, okay, I'll pop off. Like the initial kind of like when it jumped on him, I don't think I would have took the shot if it would have like grappled him because I didn't want to shoot him. Okay, nice. That'll be a hit.
So what is it? It's just the 3d6 plus 3.
Yeah, it'll be 18 lightning or electric damage.
So it is going to bite into you, and it's going to deal.
Now, you do have to do a con save though. Con 15 to see if it has disadvantage on its attacks. Okay, my bad.
Should still hit though. Then it's going to deal 5 damage with its bite. Can you make a Constitution saving throw for me, Davros?
Ooh, that's a 9, natural 1.
Whoop whoop.
I will take my inspiration now. And unfortunately, we have not leveled up to 9 yet, because at 9 I get Indomitable, and I feel like that would have been a great time to use that.
Well, just start to consider whether you actually want to be a werewolf or whether you don't. That's going to go to Gale. What would you like to do here?
Yeah, I really don't want to leave Darius with a werewolf on him, so yeah, I'm gonna go with the firebolt again. I think, yeah. 19 to hit.
Solid hit.
For 14 fire damage. But I am gonna move into the vault after that.
Oh, I've got you in the vault already. My bad. That's going to leave this mortally wounded. What would you like to do here, Davros? Got
All right.
one mortally wounded, and the other one's like still breathing on the ground.
Yeah. So I think Davros is going to. He's still going to take 2 swings at the still upright one. So he'll take both of his attacks against that one. And might as well go ahead and I'll use my inspiration to give myself advantage on the first one. So that'll hit for 9.
Yeah, you're gonna take it out with the first one. Second one, roll the hit with advantage. Doesn't matter. A 9 with your modifier, that's going to be a hit. So that second one will be a crit and deal 2 death saves to it.
All right. And so does Davros know that they're still breathing but unconscious, or does he think he's dispatched them?
No, that's what I meant. Where like the one to your left is still like breathing on the ground. So effectively, each of these are unconscious. Like the one that you like impaled, kind of as you're killing it. However you like deal the death blow, you like kill that first one, and then almost like bringing your sword down into it. You're like impaling it like a spike into the ground, kind of thing. That one's like choking up blood, but it's still very clearly unconscious and breathing through like this horrible wound to its lungs, but it's choking on blood. It is still breathing.
Gotcha. Okay. So Davros I think he's going to action surge and try to just there may be more coming. No, but yeah, maybe I should save that. Yeah, he's gonna move back. He's gonna stay on this side of the vault, just kind of like sort of like trying to give Jinx and Gale's time to find what we need, and just sort of staying at the ready with his blade here. Yeah, so I'm not going to action surge this turn.
Gotcha.
Oh, and I haven't been asking, but I'm assuming none of these creatures we've been fighting are of the lawful alignment. Because there is that I do get extra damage with not that it probably matters, but Sulamore, if they're lawful creatures, I get that extra 1d6.
Yeah, these are all chaotic.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
I wonder, maybe a werewolf should be lawful if it's under the uh control of like a house like this. It's kind of an interesting thought.
Bro, you've completely opened up my eyes to like lawful and chaotic and all that, like through D&D. Because to me, like I think like, oh, it's chaotic, like it's evil. And then now like through D&D, I'm like, oh, it's chaotic. That's completely different. Same with like lawful. You're like, oh yeah, it's a bad guy, but it is lawful.
That's part of why I say chaotic neutral is actually like the most evil like setting there is, because you're not even evil like in your own eyes. You're just like a narcissist.
Yeah, you're Magnus. He did nothing wrong.
You're a sociopath, essentially. Like nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
nobody else.
sociopath. All right, so that's gonna go back around to Jinx here. Actually,
Okay.
you know what? At the start of this initiative order, let me have you guys all do a perception check again.
16 for Gale.
16 as well for Davros, actually, that time.
4, and that's a natural 1. So Davros, you can have your inspiration back if you want.
I will take it. Thank you.
Davros and Gale, you both can still hear there is movement still outside of this hallway. But with that, before either of them have a chance to react, Jinx, as far as you should be concerned, there's no more danger at this point. There's silence.
Okay, I got you. And I don't think I ever seen a werewolf get up? Like, I don't think there would be any reason I would still be, or I guess if I'm linked to it, I would know that maybe it's still alive for Bane. So I guess I'll hold my Bane up still. Does that
Yeah, I
make
think
sense?
that sounds pretty good.
Okay, so yeah, I'll keep my Bane up for now. It probably doesn't matter, but I think right now I would be spending this whole turn specifically like looking for the key. And I don't really know what the key is or what it would look like or whatever. So I would look for probably like whatever looks the
Gotcha.
most important.
There's two different compartments that are basically before you. There's a small chest that's like 9 by 4 by 6, and like you know what I mean. It's like a wider, almost like a pencil case. And then there's a large chest that's again like a pirate's treasure chest. So of those two things, otherwise, like, do you expect the key to be inside of like a work of art?
No, no. And the little chest is like the type of thing where like I could just like grab that and take it, right?
100%.
Okay. But the other chest is like a big old like freaking chest.
Yeah, you could grab the little chest and just like pocket it, and then you could use like with a free action, and then main action you could open the big chest.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pocket the small chest and then I'll just yell to Gail, I got the little chest. Let me try to bust into this big boy. And then I will, whatever I have to do, just either try to open it or pull out the crowbar and try to like crowbar it open.
I had actually considered if it was locked at this point. 1 second.
I think I would presume it's probably going to be locked. So I would be like ready with the crowbar. But I mean, I would like try it real quick first, I guess, if I could.
Yeah, yeah, it is locked.
Okay, yeah.
So
So
I
I'll go
mean,
for the crowbar.
you could see the lock on it. Yeah, I mean, you could try to break it open, or you could just try to pick it.
Um, Man, I think in the heat of battle, the last thing I'm gonna be thinking is like, let me pull out like locksmith's tools and try to like pick this. I think I would be immediately just reverting to like my, you know, primitive tendencies with the crowbar.
Gotcha. Make a strength athletics check.
It's so bad. It's
I think
-2, so
crowbar
it's a
gives you
3.
advantage, so have an advantage at that.
Okay, that's better. So that's 15, and I'm gonna use my inspiration on it too, just to try to get it open.
So plus a d6.
So dirty 20.
Gotcha. You pop it off like the actual like padlock. You're like on that with the crowbar and just kind of like jump onto the crowbar after a moment, and all of a sudden like everything just like springs loose, and the padlock just like shoots across the room kind of at high speeds here. But you've like basically like torn off the locking mechanism from this chest. But we're going to kind of hold you at that with that being your action. Let me go for the two wolves that might or might not stand up. All right, basically, you're going to see probably realistically, Gale and Davros are watching in that direction to recognize that like one of these wolves is still breathing, the one at the actual door. The one that Davros just like stabbed down into the ground through its lungs has basically expired. It has ceased to breathe. Yeah, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my action to detect magic around me here in the vault. See if I can find like any magic items. Because I'm guessing whatever we're looking for is gonna be magic.
Other than your friends, I don't actually think there's any magic that catches your eye here.
Damn, okay. Alright, yeah, that's my action then.
Davros, what would you like to do?
So as he sees the one expire, Davros is going to he's going to move forward past that one. He's going to just try to like essentially like um, stab out at this one. I guess might as well attack twice just to make sure that it's dead.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to finish off with the effort placed.
And then um, yeah, and then I think he is going to um,
What's your passive perception?
11.
Yeah, it's good enough. I guess I shouldn't have even asked. As you're out there, you can see that there's a wolf like hanging from the ceiling on the wall, like far to the south of you. But it's like already like swinging across the stonework like it's monkey bars.
Gotcha. So maybe he will try to close the door again, although that would probably be an action, right? To close them, given how heavy they are.
You've got a free action though, you can close it.
All right. So I will go ahead and do that, and yeah, basically try to stand sort of like almost like bracing against this door and hoping that Gale and Jinx are can find what we need.
Brings up a good point though. This is a vault. So I don't think there's anything on this side for you to hold on to. So you're kind of like sliding these doors as shut as possible, but like they
Oh,
shut from the other side.
I got you. Okay, yeah. So in that case, then maybe he's just kind of he'll close the door and then just like back up 5 feet to give himself a little bit of room here as but he knows something's coming, and he'll probably like shout out, you know, there's there's more, but that's his turn.
Gotcha. So this one's basically going to like swing open the door as it too tries to like basically jump into the room from above. You just kind of see as it like swings itself from the ceiling like into the room, having kind of opened the door from above as it drops to the ground beside you, like almost into a crouch. It's going to start to like leap forward and up at you as it comes to attack you. Would you like to use that reaction attack?
I'm not going to use it this time.
Gotcha. So it's going to try to bite, and then it will try to claw at you. Should hit with the bite, and it'll do. I think that's 10 piercing damage. Um, you don't need to make the con save because you're already stuck with infection. And that'll go to Jinx.
Okay, so I guess having just like busted the lock off this and still hearing like some commotion, I'm just gonna kind of like look over my shoulder and yell back to Davros, how you doing out there, big guy? You holding up? And then I'm going to finish opening up the chest and see what's inside.
Gotcha. While you're doing that, Davros, it was 8 damage, not 10, so regain 2 hit points, please.
Gotcha. Yep.
So yeah, as you look into the chest, you are going to see there are a few bags of coins. Uh, say like probably 3 coins. Make a insight roll, and you're pretty greedy, so you can have advantage on this.
Insight 22. And one might argue that I'm the least greedy because I give most of my money to charity.
I mean more like the
No, I know.
gambling level
I
of
knew
like
what
you
you meant.
love
I knew what
money.
you Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just funny.
So I'd say you're looking at these bags, and there's between like 400 and 500 gold pieces in each of these 3 bags.
Okay, and then is that like the majority of what's inside of the chest?
That is entirely what is inside of the gold chest, or inside of the chest.
Okay, I got you. And that many coins is pretty heavy, right?
I'm actually trying to bust out my calculator to see, but yeah, each 16 coins makes a pound, I believe. So they should be 25 pounds apiece.
Okay, I got you. So yeah,
Or I
I'm gonna
guess
go
you
ahead.
would assume 25 and 32, 25 to 32 pounds apiece, kind of thing.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna like basically like throw maybe one of those into my bag and then like I'd be able to carry it. So I'll yell to Gale, I'm not gonna be able to carry all this. And pull the other ones like out and just set them like on the ground right next to him or whatever. Have I pretty much used up my action at this point, or
My bad. My headset said low battery right as you said, have I pretty much?
like used up my action economy at this point?
Yeah, probably stuff in one bag and like bringing the other two out so they can see is probably pretty sufficient to say you're like just on movement.
Okay, cool. And then at that point in time, I will just I guess I'll just say to Gail, if it ain't in this small chest, the key ain't here. And then I'm gonna start moving over to back up Davros.
Yeah, what would you like to do?
Oh, my detect magic doesn't check anything off, so I'm gonna take a chance. I do have the detect chaos tech. But no, wait, actually, I can't do that because I need to do that as a ritual. Yeah, no, never mind that. I'm gonna pick up a coin. Like those.
Gotcha. You can effectively pick up one of those bags of coins. This is a free action, so you're welcome to still do any other movement or action at that point.
Yeah, like pick that up and then shoot a firebolt at the new werewolf, not dead one.
I mean, it would kind of help me out if you would attack one of the dead ones. 19 will hit.
For 13 fire damage. Let's see, what did we say the weight on the coin were again?
25 pounds. Realistically, it's closer to 26 if you guys are close. After Gale will be Davros. What would you like to do?
All right, so Davros is going to like step up here, kind of like over top of the body of the one of the dead werewolves, and he's going to take a couple swings at the werewolf. First one would be a 17
Solid hit.
for 17 damage.
Excellent.
And I'm going to use my inspiration to give myself advantage on the second attack. So that will hit as well. And I'm going to expend another superiority die and make this a pushing attack. So essentially, like the second swing, I almost like as I like bring the sword like in a almost like in a maybe like kind of uppercut from down low, and then like almost trying to like with my shoulder shove it back out into the hallway. I'm hoping to essentially knock it into the hallway so that it sets off a dart trap that might hit it. That's my thinking, anyways. This one will be for 12 damage, and let me see, there's a save involved here.
As far as I'm concerned, you are killing it with that attack. I'm not going to make the save. So as the body's kind of like thrown out into the hall, is it just a 5 foot push?
Up to 15 feet if it fails a strength saving throw DC 15.
Gotcha. So how far do you want to throw it? Are you throwing it with all your might?
Yeah, 15 feet. Like just yeah, like a full, almost like yeah, like shoulder kind of shove.
Yeah, as you throw it out there, and it slams into the ground, and you just start to hear. Oh wait, it should be disadvantaged. Let me see. Yeah, as you throw it out there onto the stone, and you hear this creature's like belabored breathing, a dart like flies out of the wall, uh, into the creature as it smashes into the stone and just pierces into its flesh.
All right, and then I'm gonna kind of like step up towards the door, and I'll go ahead and at this point, bonus action, second wind. That's kind of the adrenaline of that shove, kind of bolsters my bolsters me a bit. So that would be nice. All right, so regain 17 hit points with that second wind.
Gotcha. And the creature is going to expire.
And he's just gonna, I guess, he'll also just like shout back, like, "Find it yet?" But that is it for Davros.
All right. At present, you guys have a moment of silence. What sort of thoughts do you guys have going through your heads as these three werewolves lay dead on the ground?
So I guess at that point, if he doesn't hear any more immediately signs of any more things approaching Davros, at this point we'll go to uh, head into the vault with the others to kind of get his first look at what's inside.
Yeah, and if it's quieting down, Gale is gonna try to like investigate the vault, I guess, because I'm trying to look for something old that maybe hasn't been touched like in a long time. Because we know they had the key, but they didn't know what it was. So hopefully something mundane that they don't find valuable or not as valuable.
Gotcha. Going through the vault, there's pretty much at this point like the actual treasure chest that Jinx broke open, and then there's like 15 pieces of art stacked up against the corner. Otherwise, this vault at this point looks pretty empty.
All right, yeah, then I think we got what we came for, or at least possibly.
So I'll as I'm like lighting up a cigarette, I'm gonna pull out the little chest again, and I'll say to Davros, "Grab your share of the loot, brother." And then I'm gonna see, is the little chest like openable? Can we see what's inside?
You can open it up, and inside there's just like a small wrapping of like deer leather.
And if I like open that up, is there something inside of that, or is it more like a writing, like a scroll or something?
There is a crude like black stone object that seems to, in general, resemble the shape of a key.
If that ain't a key, I don't know what is. Let's get the hell out of here.
At Jinx's urging, Davros will go ahead and step over towards the, I guess, the open chest here and grab the third pouch of coins, bag of coins.
Excellent.
All right, so I have some random questions for you at this point in time, and it's perfectly okay to tell me that I have no clue, or whatever you want to share with me, about like our whereabouts roughly. Do we have any rough idea at this point in time based on like how many stairs we went down, like how far underground we are?
About like 20 feet or so.
Okay, okay, so just barely underground. Okay, and then yeah, actually, I think that's my main. Like, I guess maybe just sort of like how big this like mansion or manor or whatever is, like relative to where we are. Like, do we feel like we're just under like a regular size like building structure, or is this like unknowable?
I don't know what you're asking there.
I guess like foundationally, is this like a castle, just like a regular building? Like, is it roughly like square from the outside and what we've seen so far?
Gotcha. Maybe it would be better to say you're 40 feet under the ground because those stairways are 20 feet long. So let's say they're a 1-to-1 ratio. So we'll say you're 40 feet beneath the ground here.
Okay, okay. And okay, yeah. And just a heads up, like the reason I'm asking is I'm thinking like potentially like escaping via teleport, how that would like potentially work out.
So if you guys like go over to like the far left where it basically says the spire here, House Vladam is like right, I think where it says the jeweled cliffs. No, no, my bad. It's further down. It's kind of on that south, very south side. It's almost shaped. I don't know. The like diamond shaped object is the apartment buildings that crashed down. I'm gonna mark. So like that's House Vladim's wall. The House Vladam is this object there, which is a big house to itself. But like if you're talking about teleporting out, you guys are 40 feet below the earth. And these are like about 100-foot tall cliff. Like if you teleport to the east and down, you're gonna teleport out over Old Town. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty clear spot because technically speaking, Jinx would have been with the other Justin and Chris as they basically snuck down this wall and into House of Ladam by like climbing over those cliffs. And you guys would have a solid sense that you like walked down into House Vladam. Here, now that I've actually shown that view, let me go to the actual noble district. I don't know. I don't see where I have the noble district. Did I delete it on accident?
Okay, don't even sweat it because I think realistically I can only take one person with me, so I'm not sure how viable that is unless like it's like a emergency escape plan.
I got you. I got you. Oh wait, why is it not switching? Is are you guys back on the Undercroft of House Vladam? Or are you guys still on the main map?
Oh, I'm in the
Uh,
Undercroft.
Oh, I'm on the main map.
Yeah, reload if you're on the main map because my bot was on the main map still. Even though I've got you guys, you should be on the Undercroft.
Okay, yep, I got it.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, Jinx will look over at Gale as he's like smoking the cigarette and like putting the key back, like securely. Hey, I don't suppose I've ever asked you this before, and it's maybe not a man's place to ask another man, but can't teleport by any chance, can you?
No, sadly not. I haven't learned how to do that yet.
Well, I mean, I haven't technically learned how to do it yet, but I've been practicing. Well, I guess we'll save that for a backup plan then.
I mean, do have one backup plan, but that's basically us jumping off the cliff of House of Vlaadam's like back wall, because that can slow down our fall. But unless we can get up there, that doesn't really help.
All right. Well, that is actually very important. But in the meantime, how the hell are we going to get past these booby traps? I got the gloves so we can, one of us could climb on the walls, but
I mean, for my sake, at least, I have some magic for that. I can climb the walls, but I can't really get anyone else to do it.
Davros, you're pretty strong and I'm pretty light. What's the chance you put on these gloves and I hang on to you and you crawl across the ceiling?
How much does Jinx weigh with all his stuff?
Probably about 200 and maybe 25 to 50 pounds.
Uh, I mean, I'll be moving slowly. That'll definitely encumber me, but while I'm carrying you, but could try.
Yeah, probably about 250.
Technically, if we want to spend some time, I could grant someone the ability to climb the walls. I'd had to stay back though, and when they're away from the traps, I'll cast it on myself. But I can only do it for one person at a time.
All right. Well, that sounds like a much better idea. So I'll keep the gloves on. You hit Davros with that spell. We both clear the other end, and then you
And then
follow behind.
yeah, yeah, sure, we can do that.
I don't even think you have the 25 gold on you. The 25 pounds of gold on you, and you're encumbered on Jinx.
How do you check that?
It's like on your inventory, you're at 69 pounds, and you're definitely encumbered because you've got 7 strength.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think normally I probably would have a lot less of this stuff. Like I don't think normally I would be carrying around like my bedroll and stuff like that.
Well, that's part of what I mean. Like, if you don't normally have your backpack with you, like that's where you guys should have like a separate thing that allows you to put stuff into it that is basically at your house. Because you guys should be playing with that, like recognizing how much like grabbing stuff. Because you can put gold into a different thing, so that tells me like how much you're carrying around. Not for now to do, but that's part of the idea of this is that you guys can just create a backpack and call it like home base.
Yeah, I can't remember how like the strength and like encumbrance works, but like my armor weighs 13 pounds. So like I feel like I live my life in like the nearly encumbered state.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because this is also variable encumbrance. So like instead of I think like 15 times your strength, I think It's 8, so you probably carry 56 pounds.
Yeah, I feel like between my armor and the jolt ray emitter plus a crowbar, that's 25 pounds right there. So
Yeah, I mean, I have like 9 strength and I can carry around 45 pounds like on my body before I start getting encumbered.
yeah, so I would think with the gold, I'm encumbered at this point in time.
Yeah, your encumbered weight is 35 pounds, so it's 5 times your strength.
Okay, yeah. So I pretty much stay encumbered because like my armor and the jolt ray emitter alone is 20 pounds and like my common clothes are 3 pounds. So like yeah, as soon as I pretty much pick up anything heavy, I'm encumbered. Oh, so what is that? Half your movement?
It reduces you to 20. Like that's why your walking speed is currently showing at 20 feet. But that's one of the things that I want you guys to like try to pay attention to is create your characters, store stuff at like a home base so you can decide how much can you actually pick up before you're encumbered. So the real question is here is like Davros, can you take 50 pounds of gold so Jinx isn't encumbered? And then again, like you guys can climb out of there with the gloves. Um and like you being encumbered isn't really a big deal. But I do want you to still make a check when you go to use the gloves to see how that goes for you, Davra.
Let's see. So you said variable, it's 5 times?
Yeah, if you actually click on your inventory where it shows your weight, you can click on it and it breaks down what you're encumbering.
Oh, okay. So I think mine must be looking at non-variable encumbrance because I'm carrying, uh, yeah,
Oh,
because
I thought I
my,
set everybody at variable.
yeah, because 18 times 5 would only be 90 pounds. So I'm carrying more than that.
Yeah, but like for instance, in my like weight carried, it's at like all my gold. But like obviously I wouldn't be just like traveling around with 325 gold and like 65 silver.
That's what I mean. If you add another backpack and you call that home base, you can put stuff into it including gold, and then you just unclick the backpack so its weight doesn't register with you, and that's stuff that you don't leave with. And that way you guys are always choosing like what you take, which means sometimes you might leave the house and you have a forgery kit at the house, but you don't have your forgery kit on you. And that's part of where I think like the interesting aspect of it is you're in a city, you have access to everything, but you also can't carry everything.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I honestly have never really messed with like all the encumbrance stuff. How do you actually put gold in the backpack?
I just usually add a custom item and then say how many coins it is and then subtract that from my actual, uh, like the coins and the, that show up next to the weight carried. I don't know if there's a way to particularly put like the coinage with the weight in another backpack.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So you add items to the backpack, create a custom item, and then just keep track of your gold that in that custom item.
Yeah, yeah. So like if I had 500 gold pieces in my, at home, I would just create a custom item, call it 500 gold pieces, and then put it in my home backpack. Yeah.
There's a button at the bottom of it that says currency. Isn't that at the bottom of all of them? Oh no, that's only at the bottom of your main equipment. Okay.
Actually, like on the top where you have like the total amount of gold you have, like weight carried, and then on the right side you have your gold. If you click that, you can go into the settings, and from there you can put coins in containers, and then you can add uh, like different amount of
Oh
coins
yeah,
in
that's what it
different
was.
containers. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never saw that before.
Oh, sick. Okay, hell yeah.
But yeah, that was the general idea that I was trying to get at some point, like in the past, because that part of that is like if you're walking around with all of your gold on you, and I hit you with a pickpocket, I might steal all of your gold. Versus most days, you're not walking around with all of your gold.
Yeah, but yeah, so Davros is already encumbered then if it's just 5 times the strength.
I've got you. You've got 12 pounds of javelins on you.
Yeah, those things are heavy. Uh, the climber and then the climber's kit, obviously, and the armor and all that sort of stuff. And then it's over. So I'm not heavily encumbered yet.
Yeah, and you've got like 90 feet of rope on you. Yeah, but in the long run, um, oh, and I show you as non-encumbered. Oh, is that what it is though? It's because you're not on that setting.
I think so, probably. I can change it in my settings, I think. Um,
Yeah, you're just on normal encumbrance.
Okay, yeah. So when I pick up those coins, I'll be encumbered. Will that affect my non-walking speed, or is that only your walking speed is affected by that? Like I would imagine, like climbing with gloves is still going to be harder.
Well, everything uses your walking speed. So once your walking speed is reduced, like it changes those as well. So like if
okay.
your walking speed is 20, that's like what you can climb at when you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed.
Okay, I got you. And you said each of those bags is roughly 500 gold pieces.
Your estimate was there 4 to 500 gold. They are in meta purposes 406 gold apiece.
Yeah, so okay, I just changed mine to the variant encumbrance, and yeah, now he shows as encumbered.
So I was already thinking let's take a break here because I want to go step away for a moment. You guys can mess around with that if you'd like, but in the long run, that doesn't have to be something we do here while we've got everybody together. It's perfectly fine to do that at any time because it's far more to make things more entertaining to have and want stuff that you do not have at that time in a place where you can have access to everything. That was my point of doing variable encumbrance here.
No, that's definitely cool. I've got it all set up now, so hell yeah. All right, well, yeah, we'll take a quick break then. Hell yeah.
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
All right, I'm back whenever.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm still here.
I'm back.
Yeah, welcome back.
So did you guys hear about the like crazy retaliatory drone slash missile strikes on Israel?
Yeah.
You think it's
Yep.
gonna be like another escalation event? Think we're like ramping up for World War III, or you think they're like trying to blow it out of proportion?
I mean, hopefully they know that. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually I'd be more concerned about the seizure of the ship because they also seized a ship in the what are those called, There's like the Straits of Hormuz, the Red Sea, right? Big shipping lane. But I have to imagine they know that, like, yeah, it's a tinder, it's a powder keg right now. So
Yeah, I'm always curious, like, how they portray the news in, like, Europe as opposed to, like, the United States, because like, we have, like, crazy amount of, like, pro-Israel, like, propaganda in the US, and I feel like a lot of, like, Europe, or really a lot of the world doesn't have, like, that same level of propaganda.
Yeah, probably less propaganda, but like it's definitely very much focused on that right now because it's a hot topic, basically.
Right? I think the biggest thing that'll, like, start legitimately alarming me is if we see, like, actual US troops, like, either on the ground or, like, die. I think that would be, like, the biggest, like, escalatory thing for me. Or really NATO, not even necessarily just US.
I think what like Europe news about the whole situation. I think for some reason, like the Eurovision song contest is basically like forefront news right now because Israel is in it, and there's a lot of countries boycotting it or like artists boycotting it because of it.
yeah, I mean, Iran actually is I mean, notwithstanding this, their drone attack stuff, but they're actually pretty good at like walking the line. Like obviously they fund a bunch of like, you know, proxy militias and stuff, but I think they know that, like, if they do anything like too much directly, that they'll just, I mean, because the U.S. would, like, if they did something like really bad against Israel, then I feel like, given like the whole special relationship, like they know that the U.S. could just kind of come in and wipe them off the map.
Well, I
Yeah,
think what they just did is a perfect example of what you're saying too, because they basically were like, "Hey, like we're about to do like a retaliatory attack in like 6 to 10 hours, so like just a heads up, like we're not trying to escalate anything. This is just in response to like Israel bombing our um what's it called?
Right, like the Syrian consulate.
Yeah, the consulate." And then they were like basically like, "Hey, look, like we're about to attack you because we don't want to look like a bitch. We're not actually really trying to like kill anybody, but like, we're gonna show that there's like a legit threat with like drones and missile strikes. But then like after that, like, we're cool again."
Yeah. I almost wonder if it was also just kind of, almost like testing, like, how strong are the Israeli anti, air defenses, right? Because like the articles I was reading, at least, were like, it was, they say like, well, if they send enough, then they could like kind of overwhelm the system. Then you have to wonder, did they say that intentionally in the actual public news to try to throw off, you know, just how strong the capabilities are? Because, at least from what I read too, is like 99% or something of the, although that could also just be, like, you know they're saying it was that powerful to try to throw off. But I mean, it sounds like the total actual damage was um pretty low. I mean, relatively speaking, from the
Yeah, I
retaliation.
think the main things to like keep in mind is one, like if you're really trying to like mess somebody up, you're not going to warn them you're about to attack them. And then two, it's exactly what you said, where like there's two ways you can sort of like beat the Iron Dome. One is either like a ton of volume all at once, or two is just like a lot of volume over a lot of time because like there's limited resources.
Yeah. And then I was reading an article about, everyone's looking at like the Middle East and obviously the whole Ukraine situation, but there's also some rumblings in like Serbia, Bosnia Herzegovina, that region, that could, you know um, if that like I don't know, if you remember like the whole Kosovo War and the breakup of what was it? What was it used to be called Yugoslavia? But like they're concerned because North Macedonia is a NATO member. So if like any fighting like kind of spilled into there, and this is another thing where Russia's kind of also like they're sort of egging on their kind of proxies in the region, so that could a whole another uh, potential issue.
Yeah, and then on top of that, we got China and Taiwan. If that ever like pops off, if China ever perceives it as like their time to strike, I mean that's like world changing type shit.
Yeah, that would be. I think that could easily lead to World War III.
I think the best case against that right now is just how shitty China's economy is. Like, regardless of what people are like saying or thinking or whatever, like we know for sure that China is in like rough shape right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess Xi is the wild card, right? Because he's kind of. I feel like he's very similar to Putin in that he wants to. You know, he's very concerned with like his personal legacy and like rebuilding the whole Chinese kind of empire kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe the word you're looking for is nationalistic.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, I totally agree with you. I think it's a lot of the same thing. I think a lot of the benefit for like other countries, like potential adversaries of like United States in particular, but like the West, is that we have like these like 4 to 8 year like terms. So it's sort of just like, oh, well, if we're like gonna do some legacy level like serious shit, like we can just wait like 4 to 8 years until the next guy's in.
yeah. Then you also have the argument that like the fact that China's economy is not good could almost be why they're being more militaristic towards Taiwan because it's the classic oh we got domestic problems but we got this enemy outside so let's rally around the leader kind of thing.
Yeah, that's actually sort of what like I'm concerned that we're potentially going to see like ramping up into this year's presidential election is that they try to turn this into like a hot war in defense of Israel, our ally, or like try to escalate to where it's like a NATO level like attack or something like that so that they can then use that to do like whatever they want basically for like with media or with like actually like I mean I'm not saying they're going to like do like illegal like election shit, but there's definitely an argument for potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I sat down to the question of you guys saying, I wonder if this is going to lead to World War III. And I was like, oh, they think House Vlaadam is going to cause a world war. And then you guys talked about real politics.
Well, just because like the crazy like drone strike, like missile attack, retaliation from Iran against Israel.
I had not actually seen that.
Israel like blew up the consulate in Iran and killed like some powerful people, and then Iran basically was like, "Hey, we're gonna strike back against Israel in like 6 to 8 hours," and then they sent like an army of drones and like a bunch of like cruise missiles, or maybe not cruise missiles. I can't remember what they were. And basically the Iron Dome like basically took everything out. The videos are actually freaking crazy though if you haven't watched it yet.
Israel is surrounded by Muslims. There's no way they would provoke an attack by attacking somebody else's consulate and killing everybody. That's not the kind of thing that they would do. Also, have you guys ever seen like the shows of power, like from like old World War II videos where they're like doing these massive parades? And then have you ever seen those really cool drone videos where there's like 50,000 drones in the air and they're clearly like making like a video screen, almost like pixelating each drone individually? I'm not surprised to hear that they like tested the Iron Dome with drones.
Yeah, I have seen both those things, and, I don't know if you've ever, like, heard, like, the stories about, like, the inflatable tanks or, like, the cardboard cutouts or any of that stuff?
Oh yeah, that's how like how not Chamberlain. Shit. What's the
Churchill.
Churchill, yeah. Like basically defended um from the Nazi like actually invading the main or the island. So yeah, let's put inflatables up here. Look like we actually have some strength.
"Look at how strong we are," and then you, like, zoom in, and there's, like, a couple guys with, like, bike pumps, like, inflating, like, air defense systems.
Yeah, isn't there like a famous tale in like World War II where the Germans did up like a fake camp, like soldiers, tanks, everything, and then the English just flew over and dropped a fake bomb on it.
They're like, "We blew up the enemy with 0 resistance."
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if they just like they had like a little message on the bomb, like something simple, like either boom or just like we know it's like something like that. Just to
They're
tell
like,
them that
"We know that you know that we know that this is bullshit."
I feel like it makes sense. Like entire theaters of World War II were basically like Looney Tunes episodes.
It's like the Acme thing.
I mean, it makes sense. That's like the creation of like spy, counter spies. Like just the level of like how many levels of negating the negative can we go into?
Yeah, well, it's, like, freaking crazy because they're basically saying that, like, the back to, like, the anti-drone thing, they're saying that these drones cost, like, roughly, like, $2,000, and they're using $2,000,000 missiles to, like, shoot them down.
Yeah, that's called a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, like full on asymmetric warfare. So there's like this crazy new technology for basically like an unarmed little like mini turret that they put on top of like structures or like, Hummers, tanks, whatever. And it's basically like a machine gun that's like fully automated with like a pintle mount, and it can like shoot down like a drone with like, a handful of bullets instead of like a $2,000,000 missile.
Makes sense, but it's probably not as good as the Iron Dome itself.
No, no, definitely not.
And
And
then
like the
even
iron
even so, you also think about like every time like Hamas is shooting like rockets into the Iron Dome, there's still probably $100,000 rockets versus a $2 million missile.
Oh, like, not even. Like, those rockets that Hamas is shooting are, like, Roman candles, like, homemade, like, like, devices and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy when you look at, like, the asymmetry of, like, the cost. It's the same thing with, like, the Russia-Ukraine war right now, is, like, the amount of, like, money and, like, production that Russia, like, puts into, like, manufacturing stuff compared to what it costs, like, the West to manufacture, like, the equivalent is, like, 10 to 1.
So let's jump back into things here. Have you guys thought or did you discuss at all how you were going to progress forward here? Are we going to have you climbing on the back of Davros, going with that route?
I think probably go with Chris's, suggestion. Maybe, like, he could cast, the spider walk on Davros, and I'll use the gloves, and then, Chris can follow.
yes, basically using the spell twice. Like first on Davos, get him away from the traps, and then when he's over, just drop it and cast it on myself.
Sounds good. I think in the long run, then let's have you roll for the gloves, Jinx.
Can't think of a worse time for these things not to work. Here goes nothing. All right, we're good. So
Gotcha.
during
So go ahead.
my bad. During this time, from here on out, I am encumbered also. So my walking speed slash climbing speed will only be like 20 feet. So does that mean it's 20 feet with a dash? Is that how that works? Like total?
If you dash, your speed would be 40.
Oh wait, isn't your climbing speed already half though?
Yeah, but those gloves don't actually reduce your climbing speed. They give you a climbing speed. Everybody can climb at half their walking speed. It just takes tests. Those gloves basically let you have a climbing speed equal to your walking speed, and it's more or less at that point like automatic. Having a climbing speed and being able to climb are two different things. Everybody can climb. People who have a climbing speed do so like without fail.
Oh, okay, sick. Okay. So yeah, while ever we're climbing, like once this like starts, I can't do anything else. So
Yeah, it's kind of like a swimming speed, right? Unless you say specifically like your character can't swim, everybody can swim. But if you have a swimming speed, then you swim quicker.
Yeah.
okay, I got you. Maybe I'm just like overly paranoid that like we'll be like halfway across and then like somebody shows up.
I wouldn't put that chance at zero. But yeah, so yeah, Davros is ready to move as soon as Gale casts the spell on him. He is also encumbered.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as Ying's like starts climbing, Gale will cast the spider climb on Davos.
But then, like, so just like if combat does happen, so like are we assumed like we're able to essentially shrug off like our backpacks if we were going to like get into a fight? Like, is that kind of the normal sort of standard idea, or do we have to specifically say we're doing that?
I think overall, like as far as you guys being encumbered goes, like yeah, like the smart thing to do would be to shed your backpack. Um, in many adventures, I think it's one of those things that gets played without talking about is that yeah, you're probably not carrying your backpack for most of the time. You're probably trying to like hide it behind some rocks at like a convenient location, and go back to it in case you needed something that is less likely to be used. But that's part of where I think the interesting aspect of worrying about your equipment in the least bit is like, what do you guys consider the most important stuff to have that is always on your person? That's your equipment. What do you guys think you would carry with you, but you might not have on you at all times? That's your backpack. and then what are the things that you guys have at home and not currently with you. That's basically your home base.
Right, makes sense. Main reason I was asking because if Davros shrugs off his backpack, then I think he would no longer be encumbered. So just
Yeah. I mean, you guys haven't talked about it, but you could also just leave all of your backpacks here, tie a rope to them. One of you carry one end of the rope to the other side and drag the backpacks out.
You like get to the other side and there's like 100 darts in each of our backpacks.
I mean, if you guys did that, you might actually learn the trick of these dart traps, which I've been trying to give you guys clues to, and I don't think you guys have figured it out yet. So Jinx and Davros are going. You guys gonna start climbing out?
yep, Davros will once the spell is cast on him, he will go start kind of climb up onto the wall and start going on along the ceiling.
Is that where you're setting down on the ground there, Jinx?
Oh, well, that would just be as far as I can get with my first like 40 feet, like one round.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I'm
let
like,
me know if you like. Yeah, let me know if you want us to like stop somewhere. But essentially, Davros will just keep going as quickly as he can.
Yeah, you're good. As far as I'm concerned, just show me where you're actually setting down on the ground.
Can't remember if the darts were this early on, but Davros will, I guess, come down here.
Gotcha. So yeah, you guys are good to go. You can see that the door beyond the combat ring has been opened up, and there is a prison cell on the opposite side.
Can we?
is it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can we see if anyone's in there from where we're
There does
standing?
indeed appear to be a body in there.
Jinx, you stay here. Gail, you're up. I'll check this out.
All right.
Dav. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gail.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say like Gale will put the spell on himself and start moving over.
All right. Holla if you need anything, Davros. And I'll creep around this corner here to like keep lookout from the stairs.
And Gail, is this a concentration spell? So as you dropped it on me, right? Before you could cast it on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Davros will start moving to check out the move towards the prison cell.
I guess you don't really have that full view right now, but There are two prisoners in these different prison cells. There are two prisoners in these prison cells. The first is that one that you directly saw in front of you, and then there was another one just to the south of that. Both cells are otherwise locked. Let me drop them in. Neither seems to really be reacting to your presence in the room. At present, they seem to be basically either unconscious or simply not paying attention to whoever's outside of their cell.
Gotcha. So Davros is he'll move up like towards uh this cell here, and he's just going to he's going to be like, "Hey, wake up!" and maybe like kind of like drag like just drag his sword across the bars, almost like to make a little bit of noise in case they're like asleep. Can he tell that whether they're alive or not, like from here, or he's just not
Gotcha.
sure?
Are you trying to be intimidating as you like yell at them to wake up and like drag your sword across the bars?
Not intimidating, more just kind of like almost like just like um, almost like as if he was like coming to warn them about like a fire or something. Like, hey, wake up!
Gotcha. So you'll see the one in like the cell directly in front of you seems to kind of shudder at like the sound of your voice, um, giving you a sign that they are indeed alive. The other one kind of like starts to come forward to the cell and ignore the D12. Of course, it was Max. He kind of like shudders as he like walks towards the cell, and you can see this is a like smaller person. Before you'll notice that he's a dwarf, and he kind of like moves forward towards the cell and just like punches back at the like iron gate on it before like slumping back down into the corner. Not actually like saying anything other than that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Davros is going to um, he'll to the one who kind of like shuddered. He'll just or he'll kind of like kind of step so they can try to like address both of them. And he's like, "Don't know you, you don't know us, but we want to get out of here. Uh, we're headed out." And then he's gonna call like just call back. Jinx, might need your help here.
Kind of looks over at you from like the southern cell. Some trick of Alistar's? Why are you releasing me now?
Sorry, and just remind me, is Alistair is a name we recognize? Is that the leader of House Vlaadam? Is that Alistair?
Do any of you remember at present? Otherwise, let me get a history check from you, Justin, with Davros.
I recognize the name, but for some reason I was thinking it was from a different campaign. So I think no in this one.
That would be a 16 on the history check for
Yeah, nat
Deborah.
18 is going to be enough that I'm going to give it to you. So you've seen the like family photo, and of course I finally deleted it from chat here. But Alistair Vladam is kind of like the shriveled, sort of tiny, like um maybe weakling kind of fits, but he's one of the sons of Iristal. And apparently he's older than the daughter who is in control of the family. So that kind of says something to you about him. But otherwise, he's sort of just one of the sons.
Gotcha. Okay. No trick. We're no friends with the Vladams. You want to get the hell out of here or not? And they'll just like shout again, like, Jinx, I need your help. But he will try to, like, in the meantime, I don't know how sturdy this locks look, but he'll try to kind of like just like bash, if there's, I don't know, is it a padlock or just like, is it just like a key? Like, is
Yeah,
there any
like a
way?
key lock where they have like the big square or like rectangle kind of like locking mechanism, and there's just like the keyhole in the center. And he's just like it's just kind of like that side of the door next to where it would lock across. But as you like call back for Jinx and you're like looking at the lock, the dwarf's gonna like pull up to the actual like irons of the door, and he's just going to kind of like pushing his chest against the iron. He's like calling out and he's like, "That one's broken. You're not gonna get any reaction out of him. And if you're gonna stab me in the back, do it now and take my heart."
Sorry, I had to just step away for a minute. Um, yeah, so Davros will kind of like, um, as the dwarf kind of says that, he'll kind of move towards that one, and be like, he'll like point to like, Jinx, get him out of there. Um, gesturing towards the door with the, I presume, human, or
From this perspective, he's human enough.
okay. And then to the dwarf, Davros will just be like, I'm getting you both out of here if we can help it. What's your name? Um, and I assume based on your description, doesn't seem to be any sort of way that he could try to like break open the lock with like brute force, right? That have to be picked if we can get him out, or I guess find the keys.
You could do an insight check here, or you could do a strength check with your insight proficiency. You know what I mean? Like you could do like if you have proficiency in insight, it's like effectively in athletics. You know what I mean?
I got you. Yeah, yeah. So I do actually have insight. Yeah, so it'll just be yeah. So
Yeah.
that would make it a +7 then.
Yeah, because you're trying to read his ability to like do something. You're like looking over this dwarf, and like you're used to hearing about like hardy dwarves. This dwarf, like he might be like thin and starved at this point, kind of thing, but this dwarf was probably not strong even like weeks ago or whenever he got taken and brought down in this place. This is probably the wimpiest dwarf that you've possibly ever seen.
All right, I'm gonna try to pick that lock.
All right, and I guess so. As he's doing that, Davros will be like, the dwarf will be like, stand back, and he's just going to try to yeah, I guess smash open the door to this one down here, or like try to like on the locking mechanism.
Gotcha. So, Jinx, you're picking the top lock.
Yeah, the more like coherent one that was the dwarf up top here.
No, the dwarf's on the bottom.
Oh, my bad. Okay, yeah, whichever one Davros said, I felt like it was the dwarf he was saying to pick.
So he's actually pointing to the other one. Yeah, and then he's
Gotcha.
gonna try and
So,
smash
yeah.
open this one.
Jinx, you can pick the one that you like walked up to. That's the one I was thinking you went to anyway. So you can pick that, and that's where the person is. By the time you open up that door and kind of get a little bit closer to them, they would like shudder at your touch if you like go to like help the person up to their feet. And by the time you kind of like help them a little bit to where they're like almost looking at you, very much like fear in their eyes, you'll notice that they do have like pointy ears, effectively kind of making the recognition this is a half elf. Uh, 17's enough that you can hit the door. Can I see what kind of damage you do to it?
Ooh, 8.
Gotcha. It's enough that it's like off the hinges where you could potentially pry it open enough that the dwarf could get through, especially since he is less of a sturdy dwarf than you've ever seen. Otherwise, you could give it another attack and maybe be able to actually open up the door entirely. But you're pretty sure with your strength and the size of this dwarf, you could probably help him slip out.
Yeah, he'll take another swing at it just to just try to like finish off the job.
Gotcha. As far as I'm concerned, there, your second swing, you can bust open.
All right, and so as that kind of happens, he'll kind of like try to like shove it open, and all right, let's go. Don't have much time. And he'll like, name's Davros.
Like, are you like reaching out a hand to like shake his hand, kind of thing, when you say names, Davros?
Uh, no, he's almost like as soon as he got the door open, he's like, all right, let's go. Name's Davros, and then he's like almost like starting to move back towards like Gale and the other room.
Gotcha. So he'd probably be a little bit hesitant, Jinx, while you're like in the cell with the other one. You might notice like the dwarf's like slowly like peeking out of the cell. Like this dwarf is clearly waiting to get betrayed here and doesn't understand what you're doing.
Look, there's more than wolf bastards coming. We gotta get out of here while we can.
Look here, I get you don't trust us. You guys are prisoners, obviously. I don't know how long you've been held for, but this is a prison break, all right? We're here, we just robbed the vault, and as far as I'm concerned, our enemy's enemy is our friend, and that's you two. So let's get moving. If you need water, booze, or a cigarette, here's one for you. If not, let's go.
Gotcha. By the time you like help the half elf up onto his feet, you can see that his like chest is just like cut to ribbons. There's scars all over his flesh. And you can kind of see signs of like different stabs, and very clearly like no magical healing was applied to them because they're like naturally scarred over. Kind of giving you a sense like some of these wounds are pretty fresh, maybe still kind of like oozing with like scabs and blood. some of the wounds are pretty like old and starting to actually close up, and some of them have actually scarred over. Uh, Somewhat like with the recognition that this person's been down here for quite a long time. The dwarf kind of like taking a few moments. Uh, you're not going to get anything out of here. I've been here for weeks and he hasn't even said a remotest word to me. That one's broken. Carry him or leave him behind.
All right, then. Come a little closer here. I need to touch you both at the same time.
Like, okay, he's like already kind of coming up out of his cell and like he's going to kind of pass you, Jinx, but he's like taking a wide berth. And like the moment you say like you need to touch him, he just kind of like almost like steps forward into you, like he's gonna brace himself from being thrown backwards. And he's like, if you're gonna kill me to my face, not my back.
All right, so I'm gonna start casting with my one hand, and then you'll see it like splits into two and goes into my other hand. And then I'll reach out and touch them both at the same time. And I'm gonna hit them with a healing, and I'm gonna use my twin spell, meta magic point.
You really
Uh,
came here to rob House Vlaadam?
oh, we didn't just come here to rob the House Vlaadam. We robbed them. Now we're just getting out of here. So they'll each get 13 points back.
One on the ground. The like half elf kind of like looks at you, still not really like vocal or anything, just kind of like looks forward and just kind of like bracing on you is going to like take its like first step. You can see he's very weak, but he can kind of like still walk and he'll like start to walk out like beside you, but he's basically like latched onto you right now, Jinx.
Gonna be a slow grind. I'm encumbered, and now I'm carrying an elf, like scarecrowing him, helping him, whatever.
I'll tell you the whole story when we get the hells out of here. But for now, let's go. Jinx, leave this one with me, and he'll come to try and, essentially like grab the half elf almost by the shoulder and sort of try and like drag him along.
And I'll look back to the dwarf and just say, "What's down the rest of the way there? I mean, I'm sure you hadn't been adventuring, but anybody else we need to check on?"
The dwarf like doesn't even look in the direction and just kind of like make an insight roll.
16.
The dwarf like shudders, like kind of like looking like not in that direction, but just like looking towards its like right shoulder as its like back is facing to where you like gesture. And it's like nothing good is there. It's Aristol's. Wait, let's say that's Alistair's torture chamber.
Oh shit! I'm gonna go look real quick. Yeah, we still clear up there?
Yeah, I mean, don't see anything at least.
Can't imagine we got much more time. That can't have been all the gods.
So going around the corner, you can basically see like a table of just like torture implements, knives and pliers, different like scalpels, all kinds of different like tools used to kind of like cut and like flay somebody sort of things. Just kind of sitting across the table. There's like a rack sort of like front and center, and you can see that it has like irons so you can stretch somebody into kind of like an X like position. And then there's just a small like brazier of coals, and you can just kind of hear like as there's like breaths of air almost like coming up into it. So the coals are continually like stoked into a red hot like white fire.
And then nobody else in like this last room or anything either.
No, as far as you can tell from this is just like a place to torture people.
All right, nothing here. Let's go.
Yeah, and Davros is starting to move towards Jinx and still trying to like it's almost like half guide, half kind of like drag the health elf with him.
Gail, can I have you roll an insight check for me, please?
That would be a 15.
As the dwarf kind of like hears them calling out to you and he starts to like kind of hobble towards you, the moment he spots you and sees your spell book, you kind of catch little bit of kind of like greed and like desire like flash across his eyes as he sees that you've got a spell book on you.
Yeah, I think I'll just grip my spellbook a bit tighter as I see that.
You can magically make it disappear.
Yeah, I know, but still. I mean, if we start trying to take it, that's basically what I'm gonna do. But still,
So as you react to it, he's gonna say to you, sorry, you haven't got another of those, do you? I'm useless. Uh, eh, Alistar took everything from me. And you just see as he kind of like opens up his arms and like he's wearing a cloak pretty similar to like typical wizards, not really showing any signs that he's like inverted pyramid, but as he like kind of like outstretches his arms you can see like there are like leather straps inside of his cloak where you would normally like have a spell book or two like under each arm but in like a safe kind of keeping like close to his body, and they're empty.
yeah, no, sadly, only one book on me at the moment. I have a spare if we manage to get out of here, but yeah. I mean, if you need something to defend, I'm gonna rummage through and pick out a scroll. Yeah, I'm basically gonna hand him a. I mean, if he seems like a wizard, I'm gonna hand him the Rhymes Binding Ice scroll I have. And just like, here, for self defense at least, if we need it.
He like unrolls the scroll, rolls it back up, looks at you with a little curious look, and looks back at you all like still kind of like skeptical. But you can definitely tell he's slightly less skeptical. You just handed him a weapon, and like that says something. Are we Gonna kill Alistar?
I don't think we. I'm not even sure he's here at the moment, but yeah, no. Top priority is getting us out of here.
See, like the little, like, kind of glint in his eyes, kind of like go back, and he, like, with a little bit less greed to his eyes, kind of like looks back to you. And, well, better that way. I might have gotten ahead of myself. You've done this much, and like by now he's like walked out, and he can kind of like see the bodies, like across the ground. Uh, and he'll notice one of them clearly isn't one of the werewolves. Uh, one of yours, as he like motions towards Bill.
Yeah, sadly we didn't really make it. Uh,
Are you gonna leave him here?
I mean, I would take him back with us, but to be honest, I'm not sure I can carry him. Don't think about the others. It's ideal circumstances, definitely would take him with us.
Problem is that there hallway is severely booby trapped, as you can tell from the wounds on his head. And well, too late for him now, unfortunately. We ready to do this?
Yeah, no point in wasting time. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
All right, I'll take point. Davros, you stand between me and the wizards. We get attacked. Don't hesitate to drop that fool. Defend yourself and us.
Devil's Cut just kind of grunts in response, like,
But before you go, in the name of Father Dragon, shouldn't leave your friend here. He's gonna look over to you all like, can we? Uh, uh, I can consume. Can I? I can consume his flesh in fire.
I- If you can, then yeah, that's probably better than leaving his body here for them to do whatever they want with.
These are evil people. He shouldn't be left here. No, nobody should be left here. Uh, Father Dragon, bless his flesh. The dwarf is gonna like look over, and you're gonna see his like his body, the body of Bill is just going to catch fire as it just like kind of rises like a blue golden flame up out of the body of Bill. and it's going to consume him in fire. After just like a few moments, like nothing's left. There's no like smoke or anything. Dwarf just kind of like looks back. The smoke kind of dissipates. Nobody should be. Nobody should. We should leave this place.
And
Gonna
Jinx
like
would do
look.
like a cross motion and say, "We'll see you in another life, Bill."
Let's go.
So my bad. I need to take another restroom break here. Let's take a quick break here, guys, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
Or Bill got that crit.
Yeah, at least it went quick.
I feel like the lizard men aren't gonna want to fight with us anymore after we keep getting them like maimed and killed.
I mean, that kind of depends. Like, they know it's gonna be dangerous venturing with us. We have tried to like resurrect them when we can. This one, yeah, didn't really, can't really take them with us.
Yeah, I definitely did not pick up on like the actual like traps. What was like setting them off? I figured it was like pressures from like the stone as we were walking.
I think not 100% sure, but like if I remember right, like Gale didn't set off the traps when we were walking on the same square, basically. So if someone already went into the square, it was already like triggered. So as long as someone was standing and it didn't trigger again. Not 100% sure about that one, but that's like what I remember at least.
I know for sure that crawling does not help.
That it did not.
So I was thinking maybe there was like a fixed like level, like like knee high or like neck high or something like that, that it would like shoot out the dart at. Like so that crawling you'd like crawl under it or something like that. Or potentially that it would be like disadvantage. Because like a ranged attack normally would have like harder chance of hitting like a down opponent or whatever. But that did not appear to be the case.
Yeah, no, well, maybe we'll get told how it worked after we're done here. So, I mean, at least we know it wasn't the walls, nothing on the ceiling. It's only on the floor.
Yeah, even like once we knew we were like kind of triggering him through the floor, I didn't even think about the gloves until after you used spider climb. So that was definitely a good call on your part.
Yeah, the sad thing, Bill could have definitely lived if I remember Spider Climb, because that was still on, and when he died, and he also had it, because I used my meta magic points to like twin cast it on me and Bill.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, silver lining at least. Um, with our new companions here, prison escapees. I'm at max capacity for what Featherfall can catch.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
And what that basically takes away falling damage, right?
Yeah, it basically slows us down for like 60 feet. Yeah, to 60 feet per round, and we don't take any falling damage if we can land during the duration of the spell.
But if you have to, Jinx, you get out of here with that teleportation. You've got the key.
Yeah, I could take one person with me too, so that's the hell of it. But I mean, now there's 4 of us, 5 of us anyway, so
Yeah, but I feel like Featherfall, it's 60 feet per round. It's 10 rounds per minute, right? That's 600 feet on this spell that you can fall. Holy shit.
yeah, so you're basically like invincible to falling.
Yeah, unless they have like counter spell or anything else that can like break my. Cause no, it's not even a concentration, so it's literally just like cast it and then it's on.
Yeah, that's definitely really good. I mean, depending on obviously like your campaign too, because I feel like some spells you like use like every session, other ones are like much less useful like regularly, but when they do, they like save your whole party's life.
Yeah, I've started taking Featherfall like because I have another campaign I play in on Thursdays, and I think like so far in that campaign, I've had 2 characters die and 1 character almost died to falling damage. So yeah, Featherfall is my new best friend.
What campaign is it?
Oh, we're playing the what's it called, like the Dragonlance campaign, the new one, Shadow of the Dragon Queen, I think it's. Yeah, Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen.
I haven't played any Dragonland. How are you enjoying the campaign so far?
Yeah, I mean it's been fun so far. I'm know next to nothing about Dragonlance before this, so don't really didn't have know what to expect, but it's been fun so far, even with like two characters dying to fall.
Oh, what is Dragonlance? Is that like the setting?
Yeah, it's like its own world. Kryn, I think it's called, if I remember right.
Might be something wrong with his headphones.
I heard that one from Jink.
Oh yeah, they're here. You can't hear the two of them?
No, yeah, that was the first thing I heard. Was there maybe something wrong with his headphones?
Oh, Chris, say something.
Something. I mean, can you hear this at least?
Yeah, I
Or
can hear that now.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was in red. I wonder if it was just Discord having an issue again there.
Oh yeah, we were just chatting about Chris's playing in a Dragonlance campaign, the Queen of the Dragons or something like that.
Hell yeah.
yeah, that in the many ways you can die to fall damage.
There's definitely a lot of times where fall damage is just like, oh, I want to kill somebody like that.
Yeah, I gotta say, like the first one that died that fell off like a cliffside, the GM of that like session, he was like, yeah, he had planned for me to get revived later because I've fallen down in like a goblin camp, and they were gonna was basically gonna have them like be nice and offer to like help resurrect me for like a price, and we should get to help them. But the party I was in, they saw goblins and they just went, "Oh, kill them all," because they're goblins.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the weird parts about the game where I always try to stress, like, look, if I'm willing to talk with a creature, you can negotiate with a creature. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
But yeah, so that's how my first character died, and then the second one survived for a while later, and then he got flung up into the air by water pressure and died from the fall.
Got shot up by like a geyser.
Yeah.
I feel like that's legit for Dragonlance, though. That's definitely like, what is that? Not crawl. Is that the name of the setting?
I think like the world is
Oh,
Kryn.
Bryn. There we go. I knew it was a, but it's like a post-apocalyptic. Like magic is already broken. It's definitely like Mad Max, only without all the cool cars.
Yeah, like the gods not really listening to people anymore. So like cleric spells aren't really working as they should.
Yeah, that's a very cool setting. I would love to run a Dragonlance campaign at some point. Alrighty, so let's jump back into this. My apologies there again. But yeah, you guys are basically heading up towards the stairway out into that library. As you like round this corner, you'll see that like the way up is blocked off again. I think Davros it was who spotted basically that there was a particular like sconce, like a torch on the wall that you could pull to activate that and like basically open the way out.
Yep. So yeah, so Davros would move to towards the sconce and kind of, I forget if it was, I think pull it down, I think putting it back up closed it. So yeah. I forget.
Yeah, I
Go ahead,
don't
jump in.
actually know if there's. I don't actually know if there's a reason to suppose it's like hidden in one position than the next to try to make it so somebody can't discover it. Because theoretically, if you come down here, you kind of know it's there. But I don't know. So yeah, you can activate it whenever you guys are ready.
Yep, just put Davros wherever the sconce would be.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yes.
you're good.
Whenever he's like about to activate it, I'm gonna like level the ray just in case we like open it up and they're just waiting to ambush us.
Gotcha. Anything from Kale?
I mean, no, nothing like specific ready. Just all around
Gotcha.
ready.
Gonna have all you guys roll a d12.
That's a 9.
And 12.
11 for me.
Gotcha. So as you open up the door, you're going to see a like 6 or so foot tall man, kind of like just ahead of where like the trap door heads out, and he's kind of like looking over towards the way with like a sort of curiosity before like something kind of sets into his mind, Jinx. And I'd like you to roll an initiative here for me.
21.
Gotcha. So you were holding an action to shoot somebody, I assume. You can shoot him.
And he's a man, not a werewolf.
Not a werewolf. Seems vaguely familiar.
It's probably a mistake, but I'm not gonna shoot him. Damn, it's probably Alistar, isn't it? Um, yeah, I'm not gonna shoot him.
Gotcha. Can I have the other two of you roll initiative here?
That's a nat 1 for 3.
And a nat 20 for 24.
Chris, do you already have inspiration? I'm missing mine.
Yeah, I already have one, so you can have it. Yeah.
Nice.
And what did you have there? A 22 with Jing?
Yeah, 22. But I froze when I was expecting it to be like a werewolf ambush, so you kind of caught me off guard with that one.
I might have had you guys rolling for the werewolves. I rolled for something else entirely. I don't know if you're thinking or if I can't hear you again.
Oh, what? Are you waiting on me?
No, no, I was calling to Davros. Did that not come through? Wonder if that was it. I said, Davros, you can see the person ahead as Jinx like kind of like flinches on the gun. There's somebody inside of the library.
Oh, sorry, no, that did not come through for me.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but my bad.
So I am going to. So Davros is going to let go of the half elf. Unless he's like kind of moving of his own accord now, but Davros has essentially been kind of like trying to half drag, half guide him. And he
As
is
far as
going
I was
to.
considering it, the dwarf and you were helping him, so you can drop him to the dwarf.
Gotcha. Okay. And Davros will rush forward. Um,
So that last staircase, that last piece of the staircase is essentially right where you are. Like your piece would be in like both of those squares. You know what I mean?
okay, yeah. Do I recognize this person as I get closer?
You could make an insight here.
That would be a 16.
Yeah, this is clearly one of the people that you've seen in the family portraits of the Vlaadam house.
Gotcha. So Davros is going to, as he rushes forward, is and kind of recognizes him at least vaguely, like one of the one of the Vladams is just going to, because he partially blames the Vladams for also the death of one of the deaths of Dalton. It's just going to go ahead and swing out twice at him with his great sword as he comes barreling up the stairs. If he can reach him.
Um, roll. Yeah, I mean, effectively, he's within sight. I feel like yes. Just because I said he was within sight of the stairs.
All right.
Oh wait, you're technically encumbered, aren't you? Roll a luck die. So just like roll any die, and you just want to pick high or low, odd or even. You know what I mean? And if what you pick is good, like if that's what you roll, that then you can get to him. If you roll the opposite, you can't get to him.
All right. I'm gonna roll a d20. I'll say high. Nope. So I will instead. I will. If I dash, then as my action, can I basically get into his face?
Sounds good.
And I think that will be that will be Dabros's turn.
On to you, Jinx. What would you like to do?
All right, I think Gale.
No, Gale rolled a 3. You
Oh
were
yeah, but I
holding an
went first,
action.
right?
You were holding an action. That's why you did that.
Oh, okay, my bad, my bad. Okay, yeah. So, I guess yeah, seeing Davros charge up and get into this person slash guy's face. I will do a slow. And don't tell me if it's like a pass or fail after you roll, because I may manipulate it. So it's wisdom 16. So I will do a silvery barbs to that. And then I'm going to give Davros advantage on his next attack with the silvery barbs.
He would appear to be slowed.
And then I'm just going to like move up out of the hallway, like into the room. And that's it for my turn.
The whole way he runs up the stairs, the dwarf is yelling, "Alistair!" Before you see like the words like coming out of his mouth start to freeze into little icicles, as Gale will notice a tiny little scroll in his hand start to dissipate into icicles as he is going to blast Davros and Alistair with Rhymes Binding Ice. Can I have a Constitution throw from you, Davros?
19.
And let's see. Is
Oh,
it
and I
from my
think
spell save or is it from his own when he uses the spell?
Wait, what's the question?
From the scroll, is it like? Oh no, it's just
He doesn't
an.
even have a spell save.
Oh, it's like a scroll contains second level spell. It's DC is 13.
Oh yeah. I got you.
and it probably
What was
doesn't
your
matter for Davros since he rolled good, but you have advantage automatically on that. Like you can't like save it. It has to be your next roll.
next roll? I got you.
Oh, okay. Should I roll again, or does it already pass?
What'd you roll? My bad.
It's going to be a 19 anyway, total.
Gotcha. Yeah. That is a horrible level 2 spell. Who designed that?
I've seen it use a pretty good effect. It just depends on.
Yeah, that's what it really is that it's got such a huge like power if people fail. So it's gonna do 5 damage to Alistair and to Davros there.
Does slow wouldn't give him? Oh, you said it was a con save. Never mind.
Yeah, the slow is -2 to AC, and then dexterity saving throws, and then his speed is halved. And then it's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
yeah, you can't use reactions, and then he has the weird thing if he tries to cast a spell, it's like 50-50 if it takes 2 turns.
yeah. I thought it was some of the saving throws, but then I remembered. Yeah, dexterity saving throws only makes more sense for slow. Yeah.
Oh my bad. He actually has advantage against magic. Give me one. Shit, what happened? You did.
Didn't he already roll a 20 though? Wasn't
Yeah,
that?
it doesn't even matter because he would roll and then you can hit him with the. Yeah, I hate that spell very much. That's definitely joining counterspell in the. If you use this, I will use.
Oh, what, slow?
No, your other counterspell.
Oh, the luck one?
Silvery barbs.
The Tasha's, yeah, fiery crash heat.
From what I've heard, it's actually a fairly commonly banned spell.
Oh yeah. It's a. I mean, any spell that makes you re-roll, just like with Lucky, they just slow things down as part of the problem.
Oh,
But
you ever
it's
wanted to
also
get ever wanted to get rid of that? Like I wouldn't mind it.
no. In the long run, it's something that I will use against you guys because you have it.
Yeah, I'll have to say, in one of the other campaigns, I've had counterspell used against me several times, and I've learned to hate that spell.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I think, like, in hindsight, Silvery Barbs is good, but, like, it's just, like, not balanced, I don't think, to where it's, like, fun. I honestly, I feel like having it, you're like, "Oh, I have to use Silvery Barbs to try to stop this guy from, like, critting and dying," or, like, you know what I mean? So, the guys kinda, like, take the fun out of it.
All right, yeah. Alistair is going to start to move his hands as he is covered in a mist of silver and purple twisting arcs of lightning, and then he's going to disappear.
And are we still in turn order for now?
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
And just out of curiosity, when you rolled, you were re-rolling the, second die for the slow, right?
The second die didn't actually matter when I rolled. That was entirely accidental. I didn't actually need to roll because that's what I was saying. Like I thought I already succeeded, so if I had advantage, I would succeed even better, and then you could still silvery barbs it and make me roll, which was a failure. So there's no reason to roll. The roll just happened because I already picked up the die in the roll.
But, like, he's not slowed, that's what I'm saying.
He is indeed slowed. You still have slow on him. He just didn't cast a one action spell.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So he did get slowed. I got you, I got you.
So, Gail, what would you like to do as you see your friends doing that?
Yeah, seeing as I'm the one back with the other half elf now, I'm gonna like, cause I'm guessing the dwarf dropped him when he ran up.
Yeah, the half elf is definitely like kind of like crumbled on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him up. Just, come on, buddy, and like try to move up the stairs. That's like half speed, right?
It is indeed. So Davros, it will go to you. What would you like to do?
All right, so we're back on the first floor. The is this a window to his right here?
It is indeed. And since you're going to bring that up, can I have you roll a perception check?
10.
You can see Alistar is running the fuck away from you, just kind of diagonal to where you are at present. He's just outside the front of the house.
At half speed.
Oh, I didn't do the half speed. My bad. I did forget about that.
No, you're good. I just picture him, like, full on, like, slow motion running, like, away.
Oh, wait. Can he take a bonus action and move?
Yeah,
I think
I think
so,
it
just
just
not a
makes it
Yes.
bonus action and action.
Okay, yeah. So he's good. He can move 15 feet, and then so he's about 45 feet away from you, Davros, and you can just kind of see him like diagonally out of the window, running towards. I mean, theoretically, I just want him to run towards where he has guards because he's a coward, but also, I just had him run diagonal because that's where I didn't have like areas of the map already displayed.
Okay, now
Gotcha.
at the end of your turn too, you take that test again to see if you, like, break free from slow.
Gotcha.
And that's the window to the left of the token.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, um, and I think our idea was to try to get to the cliff. So Davros, seeing him running away, is just going to start moving towards the other window on this side. And I think this is like, if he doesn't see like any like obvious threats on the other side of this window, he's basically going to dash and try to, or not dash, I guess, try to like smash this window here to give us potential egress.
Gotcha. Do you want to like jump through the glass of the window?
Um, yeah, I think that's cinematic. Yeah, he'll like take a running leap and like kind of put his shoulder and just try to like smash through. Yeah.
Excellent. You do that. As soon as you jump out of the window, an alarm is going to sound and the entire house is going to fill with smoke.
Okay.
So you leap outside, and as soon as you break like the first bit of glass, you're like partially through the window in like bullet time levels of like slow motion, and you just kind of hear like into this loud like wailing sound, and it's just going like getting louder as it kind of goes, and just like maybe not to your notice, but like for everybody else, immediately the house is just filled with this like billow of smoke that is basically going to not necessarily like blind you, but make it so you effectively can't see more than like 5 feet in front of you. So you can only see like the immediate like area around you from the moment Davros breaks the glass.
Do you want it like an acrobatics check or something to see if he lands on his feet on the outside?
Yeah, you can go for that, but in the long run, just don't roll a one.
Okay, yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, these are skilled professionals at this. It's a lower level part of the house. I don't know what I did with the Noble District. I feel like I deleted it on accident. After Davros, though, is going to be Jinx. What would you like to do as Davros leaps outside? Oh, how much movement did it take you to get there, Davros? And are you like sprinting?
Let's see. Oh yeah, and he's encumbered, so it would have taken. Yeah, so we would have had to dash and he would have had, I think, 10 feet left once he got through. So when he landed with the dash, he would have 10 feet of movement left, and he would have been running towards the cliff, or I guess towards the towards the cliff.
Gotcha. So we don't have to stay on this map here, but effectively, Davros would have seen Alistair somewhere. Like, oh,
Well, you cut out there right after you said Alistar would have seen.
my bad. So like, if you zoom in on like their property and the house here, this is part of why I lost it because it thinks the kennel is like the new map now. Um, Alistar is kind of like running southwest towards that guardhouse, or even mostly south. And then Davros is kind of like fleeing out of the eastern side, and probably still pretty close to the actual house. But yeah, that's more or less like where the two of them are at that point. I don't know. Did Davros actually call out to it? Whether you guys actually really know that Alistair's there, but
Davros did not. He just kind of saw him running the other way or away and figured all right, where if he's running away, deal with him later, or you know, so yeah, so he just went and ran and smashed through the window. He didn't say anything.
Gotcha. So what do you have in mind here, Jink?
I don't know. So the first thing I guess I'll do is hold my breath because I don't know if this is like gas or just smoke. Um, and then I would think to me, trying to like think about this objectively, I would think that he was either going invisible or teleporting away. And kind of having like an idea as to like how my spell works, I think I would be inclined to think that he's teleporting. And I think I would
You have
think,
Misty Step?
do I personally have it on this character? No, no, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But I think I would think that he was teleporting um based on like what he did versus going invisible because I have invisibility. So I feel like I would have a pretty good idea like what that might look like. But I think I would actually get psyched out by Davros. I would think that Davros saw him teleport out the window and then went after him. So I
And you
think
would
that
have seen Davros run out of that window. And then as a defensive move, Alistar clearly caused all the smoke to make sure that nobody else could follow him out there.
yeah, so I think right now, like trying to think about this as objectively as possible, not like metagaming. I think that Davros saw him teleport outside that window and then chased after him. So I think my inclination is not even to look towards the other window, but to follow Davros, thinking that he's chasing after Alistar.
Gotcha. So I think you have a good sense of where the stairs are. So yeah, that's not really like a dangerous area there. But remember your like running speed is 40 now when you're dashing.
Yeah, so I think I would use my regular movement. Oh man, that how far behind us is Gale right now with the other guys?
Technically Gale is like let me move him onto that map because that's what I said. Like that stairway piece where he was is technically that spot.
Okay, okay. So I think I would use basically my like movement slash action to like assist the injured guy so that Gale can get outside too. Again, not knowing what this smoke is, if it's just diversionary or if it's like poison, I would just like hold my breath, try to get them like out the window that Davros jumped out of.
I gotcha. So yeah, like once you move to here, you could see the half elf and kind of help from there. But you're like kind of 10, 20, 30. I think that's 35 basically to get to there.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I think Daglar is gonna the dwarf's gonna start uh just like a little flow of air in this room, giving you all about like a 10-foot space that you can kind of see as he starts to like move the smoke out of the broken window. And then he'll kind of like climb out the other side as the air is like slowly flowing kind of out of that room, giving you all a little bit more ability to see. Well, what would you like to do? Oh, actually, let me. What was it? It was 1 through 10. It takes 2 turns. 11 through 20. It takes one.
Yeah, 50-50 chance, I think.
Boo hiss. And Kat, what would you like to do?
I would like to help get our half elf friend here out the window if we can. Like together with things, try to like help him push him out the window.
Yeah, so like you can move to there, and then every movement after would cost you 10 to get out. So is that 10 to there? Are you encumbered?
No, I am not encumbered, but just barely.
Then you can get to about there. Oh wait, he wasn't slowed anymore. I saved the slow last time. Um, yeah. But yeah, he's gone. You guys don't have a chance against him now. Davros, what are you doing here?
So Davros kind of like he lands and gets about like 10 feet away. I guess he'll look back, and that's when he might see some of like the smoke from inside. Um, so he's just gonna like kind of like shout back like towards the towards the house and the others. I guess at this point he sees maybe Gale has come through and the dwarf has come through, and so he's just gonna shout like make for the cliffs, and then he is going to take off, just like moving east towards the cliff's edge. Does he see any like obvious like any signs of guards or anything like directly in front of him as he starts moving?
No, at this point, your way to the cliff seems clear.
Yeah, so I think he's just going to yeah, I think he's going to dash the full 40 feet.
So 40 feet is one of these squares. So let's say you're basically like on the on like this side at this point, kind of, or as
Yeah,
far as things go.
and I think it would
Um,
be like kind of skirting the edge of those kind of like woods.
like inside, but not like in the deep.
Yeah, because I feel like that would slow him down potentially even more, having to kind of go through there. So he's at this point not seeing any obvious signs of like guards or anything. He's going to be kind of skirting the edge of it. Yeah, so yeah, right around there is good.
All right, sounds good. So you guys are probably about like 3 turns away from getting to the cliffs. Had you discussed how many people Gale is able to feather fall?
Yeah, I can take 5 people. Like that's the max.
And it just so happens you are 5 people right now. Can I have you guys roll? Let me calculate this real quick. Yeah, can I have you guys roll 3d20? This isn't technically you guys rolling, it's just a chance to roll ones. So maybe I should have just said, let me have you roll D100s because it's not going to give you inspiration if you. Oh, my bad. I meant a total of one. I'm sorry. So only if
Oh,
the first of those was a one do I care.
okay. No one for me.
I don't think anybody rolled one. And yours was the only I didn't see, Devra. So I think we're good there. So you guys are able to make it to the cliffs. From your perspective, by the time you get to that edge of the cliff here, there's no extra alarm going off. And then we'll basically say once you guys like get there, that's when you hear uh dogs kind of like barking from this southwestern guardhouse here. So Davros, at that point, you can pretty much connect the dots that Alistar made it to that guardhouse and is sending those guards to the library, if not to you guys at the cliff's edge. So you can kind of make a decision like what you want to do from there.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like as we're like kind of like reaching the cliff's edge, probably once like the others kind of catch up to Davros, Davros will just like very briefly tell him like Alistair ran off, but probably went for the guards. That's probably them. We should get out of here. Gail, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's jump.
As soon as Gale says, let's jump, the dwarf's gonna leap.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he like jumps, then Gale's gonna follow. Hopefully, everyone else does.
Yeah, Davros will when Gale jumps, Davros will go ahead and jump.
Oh yeah, and Gale will have like the other guy, like the half elf, I guess. I mean, probably carried between me and Jinx, but
Yeah, I feel like the two of us probably are like scarecrowing, so like we kind of are just synchronized together.
The two of you will notice by the time the dwarf like jumps, the half elf is going to jump like immediately after the dwarf.
yeah, so he can move. But yeah, following them, and as like Gale's gonna cast Featherfall like as soon as everyone is in the air, like falling.
As soon as you cast Featherfall, the half elf is just going to start giddily laughing. And you guys can slowly kind of like float down into Old Town. And as far as things go, I know I took like an extra like second break there, but how's everybody doing for time? Is this a good I mean, I feel like this is a good spot to wrap up kind of regardless. But are you guys like pressed to go if we kind of do some downtime things here or
I mean, I can stay for a while. Want?
excellent?
I actually have to finish my taxes before tomorrow, so I might have to be that guy and kind of call it.
Sounds good.
But if you guys want to, stick around and do some downtime, uh, that's fine. I might just have to go off a little early.
So we don't have to take like too long, and I can kind of end it pretty quickly here. Dagar the dwarf is a pretty powerful magician and can create magical items. So for saving his life, he will offer to create magical items for you under a few terms. One, don't tell the inverted pyramid. And he says that to Gale at least 15 times, not to tell anybody at the inverted pyramid. But he will offer to create magical items for you all. So if you would like to consider what sort of magical items you would like custom made for you, that is among what Dagar can do for you. As far as the half elf goes, I feel like he can do something, but I don't see it offhand right now. But he is still very grateful and perhaps can be useful for knowledge, because I don't see what he does here. But Dagar will offer to do that in recompense for his life. Do. Guys have the key. You can consider what you will do in next time. And yeah, those 406 coins, I think that's a good chunk of it. If you guys can spend this next week actually leveling yourselves up to, I believe, level 9 is next level, you guys can have that 9th level for raiding House Vlaadam. And I'd like you guys to consider what you plan to do with the key to the Bane Warrens. Are you going to use it? You guys want to hand it over to somebody more responsible? You guys want to destroy it? Do you guys want to hide it? What would you like to do with the key? I think those are 3 solid things to consider for next week.
All right, so I have 2 random questions. 1, what was the deal with the elf? And 2, what was the deal with the traps?
Oh, the elf was quite literally just broken. He's been there for ages, and the House of Vlaadam just uses like slaves as torture devices. They fight them in combat and just like destroy them over and over and over again.
He just got excited when it was time to jump off the cliff?
Oh, it was the first sense of freedom.
Oh, I got you. And what was the deal with the traps?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine even I mean, given all he's been through, the half elf was probably thinking like, even if the spell doesn't work, like death is a form of freedom too. So he'd rather be
Precisely.
crushed at the bottom of the cliff than still stuck in House Vladam.
Yeah, even if it was another form of torture, he should have died from that fall. And because they never like revived him, they always just like brought him near to death, and then he would heal himself like over time, just naturally healing. Not like he has magic; he's just a commoner. Um, but like he would just naturally heal over time, and then they would put him in the combat ring again and nearly kill him, and they just did that over and over again to him. Dagar had only been captured like weeks beforehand, so Dagar was there for like weeks getting tortured. Effectively, Dagar created like a new spell, and Alistair wanted it, and that's the whole reason Alistair at some point like abducted him and has had him there torturing him for weeks, is waiting for the chance, like trying to get the actual spell out of him. And then as far as the trap goes, I'm not sure you guys get to find that out.
I mean, Davros is thinking there had to be some way to get there because obviously, you know, House Vladim itself wants to be able to get to the vault. But I guess there was like some switch or something that turns them off. Because it seemed like no matter where you stepped, there was a trap.
Oh, no, it's no big deal. The only reason I said that is because you said you were, like, trying to throw us hints and we didn't get it, so
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could say with enough like time, Gail's intelligent enough to figure it out, and I can give you guys the actual result of the trap. Um, but that's purely up to Gail. Does Gail spend time trying to figure out what that trap was? Is that in your mind moving forward, Gail?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would probably occupy his mind a bit, if only to like figure out how he would avoid that going forward.
Each one of the stepping stones was a pressure plate. Once somebody had stepped onto it, the darts didn't shoot again until somebody stepped off of it. It was only the first time somebody stepped on each one of them that they shot a dart. So you guys were safe while you were on the plates that somebody else was on and effectively already took a dart shot from. you guys would have been safe when you had bodies on a certain number of plates and could have moved back towards the front and leapt off of them. But they were just pressure plates. It was just 10 pressure plates effectively with magical missiles kind of aimed at them. So like the darts weren't coming out of holes in the wall. They were very magical like traps, but that's just part of the scenario there. Is like the mechanical aspect of it was a very real mechanical trap. But the actual like effect that was being shot from the mechanical trap was magical. But yeah, it was just a certain amount of weight on each stone caused it to shoot a dart at whoever had stepped onto it.
Okay. So imagine how Vlaadam would have just like anytime they had to come down here, they would just grab a few slaves and just have them take the darts and then
And I think that's why you guys really didn't get the question, because you're like, there's got to be a way for House Vlaadam to do it. And there is. They don't care about life. So they just threw bodies at the problem.
or I guess if we had had enough like heavy things, we could have like almost like taken like a bunch of sandbags like to like I don't know how what the weight sort of
That
limit
was part
is.
of why I joked about leaving your backpacks behind and pulling them out with a rope, because I wanted you guys to see as the rope of your backpacks drug across the stones was enough that it drags onto the new stone, there's a dart that fires into the backpacks. Drag it across the new stone, there's a dart that fires into the backpacks. But yeah, effectively each one of these 10 stones was its own singular trap when something stepped onto it. But once it was depressed, it was effectively deactivated until somebody stepped off of it.
Cool.
I think that's part of the funny stuff about traps, though, is like from my perspective, it seems like an easy trap to pick up. But from your perspective, you guys did one, a really great job of actually role playing it that first day. And two, sadly, it was separated by 2 weeks. So if you really did have a chance of figuring out after that first day, the 2 weeks only made it harder to return to this location and try to figure it out. Because it was just like, oh, is there any chance that they're going to remember this? And I was a little curious once you guys had a body on it, whether you were going to think like, "Ooh, I wonder if that counts."
I think naturally, like the lethal nature of them, because it killed Bill,